Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. What's up? Sax guy, how we doing? All right, people. Well, we had GDP come out this morning. And obviously the market is seeing that as bullish. Unemployment claims a lot higher than previously, but the GDP came in 3%, over 2% was forecasted. So yeah, really strong GDP. And as always, the best way to interpret what that means is just to look at the chart, see what's going on. That's ultimately what will tell us if it's a good or a bad thing. Good morning, Candlestick. Good morning, Daryl. Hey, Daryl, I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. Welcome. See a little spike in channel action going here. Nice. Good to hear, Daryl. Welcome. Good to have you. Morning, Toad. You guys all had a great trading day yesterday. Some solid opportunities for sure. And thanks to the news this morning, and this is earnings week, we might have some solid movement. Sage, what's going on? Welcome, welcome. So we do have quite a ways to go if we're going to test yesterday's high. We're going to put that level on the chart, and also yesterday's low. Till we get to either one of those levels, it's basically just an inside day, and we can likely expect range action. So first question of the morning is, will we take a long here? We have had, this is the news spike up on that GDP announcement. We have been drifting higher since then, haven't even touched the EMA. You know, if this move was going to get reversed hard, it would have happened already. So this looks pretty legit. We have no gap to fill. So I might consider a long if we get down to the EMA here. And same trade on the Nasdaq. Looking good. Nice spike up. Has had a chance to get reversed and be volatile with the news, but we're settling into a secondary channel. Looking pretty solid. So yeah, I can also consider a long if we get back to the EMA. Hey, Fury, what's going on? Yador, good morning. Yes, big GDP day. Just made a project live. Nice. Nice. Congrats. That always feels good to finish something like that. You know what, Arthur? I haven't reloaded, so let me do that right now, and maybe we'll end up having the same bars. But Arthur, as you hopefully know, tick charts will always necessarily be different. They're not going to be exactly the same. So there will be slight differences. That's the nature of tick charts. Depends on your data feed and your specific settings, etc., etc. So don't freak out if they're slightly different. If there's major differences, you know, then you can maybe fiddle with some settings and whatnot. But yeah, if it's just slightly different, no need to worry. And especially if you're trading more context-based trades, the exact specific way each bar formed is not as important. No, Fury, it's okay. I only get asked that question about every other day. Been trading for quite some time. Been involved in the markets for many years. And then trading price action strategies for the last what are we at now? 3. Yeah, Fury, got to get that Zen, baby. Now that comes a time. A lot of it, I think, is not being surprised with what the market does, because you've seen all sorts of stuff. I know when I was first starting out, you see a big green bar, and it's like, oh my gosh, things are going crazy. That, you know, I gotta get along or something. And then, yeah, after time, you realize, oh, okay, like you can wait. You can see how things react to bars. It's not, the market's never just gonna take off. Well, sometimes, but 99% of the time it's just gonna take off and never return. So yeah, I think that's a big piece, is just being familiar with how price moves and not being surprised by situations. Theodore, before price action on futures, actually traded stocks, and for a long time was just doing swing trades and whatnot, but spent quite some time trading stocks based on relative strength and relative weakness in a community called One Option. Hey Pepe, good morning. Yeah, that's huge, Theodore. The market's always there. There's always going to be opportunities. You don't have to get fixated on every single candle and try to find a trade on every single candle. Oh, okay. There you go. Yep. And actually, I'm still in the One Option chat. I'm one of the moderators there. Yeah, I'll eventually put more time into trading stocks as well, but it's been one of those things. It's like I've focused all my energy on price action futures, and it's been successful, and it's like, okay, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? I don't think I said hey to Archer. What's up, Archer? Good to see you. I don't know who can moderate a micro member, Toad. This secondary channel continues to look good. Continuing to drift up here. So I really do like a long if we can get back to that EMA. Got the market open here in 6 minutes. For those of you who weren't around earlier, GDP and unemployment came out, and as you can see, market's liking it. So I'm a little surprised that it's had this this binary of a reaction, meaning because GDP came in really well, really strong number there, but unemployment claims was worse than expected. So we have mixed economic news, and usually when that happens, you know, the market just kind of goes up and down for a bit and kind of settles in. But this has looked very bullish, so that's kind of interesting to me. And one of the reasons, again, just goes to show, don't try to interpret the actual news itself. Just look at what prices are doing. That will show you everything you need to know. So I am really tempted to take a long here as we're coming down to the EMA and target a new high. Obviously, stop would go 1-to-1. However, we are now 4 minutes away from market open. I don't know that I want to risk a trade right on the open. But if you're okay with that, I think this is a pretty solid opportunity. Nice spike channel. It's been confirmed. We have not broken the channel yet. We have not tested the EMA yet. So when we do, we'll likely at least get a test of a new high. This is not financial advice, of course. I am not a financial advisor. I am just speaking about my own personal thoughts for entertainment purposes. Yeah, I agree, Archer. That's where I'm at on it. Too close to the open. But context-wise, looks great. Setup-wise, looks great. Maybe you want to risk it. Robin, it ain't no lie. Okay, we're getting that second entry long. Never touched the EMA, so I wouldn't take that particular setup, but there it is. Plays out over and over. Nasdaq continuing to respect that channel. Looking good. We'll see what happens on the open here. Market is open. We are live and we're back at that EMA again. Pretty decent place. Consider it a long. However, not going to trade it with the market open. Yes, has a nice bullish candle there. Might be trying to do something. And I might join in on this. Now that the market's open, got a few candles of volatility. You have a nice risk structure here. I don't know that I can get my order ready in time. I'm trying to figure out my trade copier here. I think I'm going to try her out, folks. Well, actually, Nasdaq is continuing to drop, so I'm going to wait on that. Nasdaq pretty much going straight down. So yeah, you want to respect that for sure. But if it's showing some signs of life, ES is stronger. Could easily go up. All right, we're gonna try this out. And I think I will tighten my stop up behind or under this candle. If it's gonna work out, I believe that candle will hold. And the question, oh, sorry, you guys can't see me. I'm long, yes. So if this does work out, the question is, will I take profits right at that high? Or am I going to try it? Do I think there's going to be a larger move that I want to ride out? Don't know. I'll decide when we get closer, if we get closer. This might, of course, be a loser, and that's part of the deal, but we'll see. Yeah, I think I am going to get my order out of the way and see if there's a bigger move that develops. That's how bullish the reaction was to that news. We still got a long ways before yesterday's high. Maybe we go test that. So once we get to this new swing high, that's when I'll start trailing my stop. If we do, of course. No guarantee that this will work out. Should have taken the trade on the Nasdaq too. I don't know why I didn't do that. Okay, so here we go. We're getting close to that swing high, and I will get ready with the stop to trail it. Watching the Nasdaq to make sure it is also going up. And it's testing the EMA right now. I don't really want to see that close below the EMA. Hopefully the Nasdaq can continue higher. We were like 2 ticks away from that new high. Bummer. Don't like that candle at all. That might be all she wrote. Nasdaq is below the EMA, closed below it as well. So here's the question. Do I cut it here? Assuming that it probably will go touch my stop. Or do I let it ride? I think I'm gonna cut it here, guys. And unless this bar goes green, and the Nasdaq's moving up too, so maybe I'll hold on. I'm on the verge of cutting it though. There's always a chance to re-enter if we need to, but that bearish bar off of that essentially double top is not a good look. If this closes above the EMA, that is perfect. Okay, we're gonna ride it out then. That closed above the EMA. I like that bar a lot. And the Nasdaq's above the EMA. Yeah, I agree, Sage. Not great to see a 1 tick miss from the high. And then a big bearish bar right after that. But we're back above the EMA and challenging it, so I do think the chances of success have increased quite a bit. The more bars we can see close above the EMA, the better of a sign that's going to be. Watching the Nasdaq too, and it's going up. Okay, we're headed back up to our level. And I think you got some bears interested in that last little sequence. So I think if we break above that high, it has a chance to really shoot higher. Another bearish engulfing bar, man, oh man. Not what you want to see, for sure. Buyers are definitely trying. Each time it gets pushed down, they're making an effort. Nasdaq is below the EMA yet again. I'm watching the Nasdaq closely. And if it starts to drop, I'm gonna sure cut this early. Yeah, a little sketchy for sure, but I don't want to miss out on this opportunity either. So, gonna watch it closely and give it a little bit of time to prove one way or the other. Yeah, I think if it gets down to here, it's likely to go lower. So I'm going to really tighten this up. We'll take a small loss if needed. Nasdaq trying to get above the EMA, trying. Pushing higher, I like that. But the ES is struggling. Okay, so I took the small loss there. I'm totally fine with that. And there we go. All that consolidation. You knew there's going to be a lot of stops. You knew it's going to break hard one way or the other. So that's fine. I'm totally fine with that. Looked good. Still like the setup. You know, I think is a great entry there. Break out of this spiking channel. You think it would get a new high, and it came very close, and that might be enough for the market to say, okay, that's a good enough attempt, and we're gonna reverse the other way. Interesting. I would actually expect below this candle there would be more of an impulse down since we ticked below it. Okay, there it is. Thank you all. Yes, very important to cut losers quick if the likelihood that it's going to go all the way to your stop increases. And I think that was definitely happening there. And a quick new high. Yeah, that should have gone up there pretty quick. And Sage, I would agree with you. I have found, I don't have specific statistics, but I have found anecdotally in a lot of my back testing that spike in a channel formation is a little bit, it's not as clear cut as just a regular bullish or bearish channel. They oftentimes don't get a new high. And like right here, sometimes that's enough for the market. Got one tick away. It says, okay, we attempted. Now we're going to go do something else. Gonzalo, up or down? I don't know. Good question. I think probably Sage, I'm gonna look into it more. I think maybe with spike in a channel, it's better to play a channel bounce rather than a break. Like if you're recognizing, okay, there's a spike in a channel, play the channel bounce right here. I don't know, but you can definitely play it as a reversal, especially in a range formation. Like if you have a spike in a channel and it's in a clear range, sometimes I will actually trade that as a break. Like if it breaks here and the action has been very range, like let's say it's, you know, something like this and very choppy up and down, you get a spike in a channel like this, I do agree that it's a good reversal play. Once that breaks, it's likely to drop down pretty fast. I think it's a little too early to tell whether or not we should be shorting here. Still quite bullish. We have not gotten down into this spike yet. There's some possible support across here. So although typically you would see a move down and a pullback to the EMA as an opportunity to go short, I think I'm going to hold off for now, wait for a little bit more clarity from the market. Sage considering a short on the Russell. Yeah, those look pretty good. You do have to watch out though that there was a spike up on that news as well, so that's the only thing. You could argue a bullish case for the Russell. Ooh, crude oil had a nice trade around market open. If you were around for that. Okay, here we go. Nice little spike up. Very glad I didn't short at this point, right? And I think now we're going to get that new high. Better structure for a trade here on the Nas. Considering it, if we take along here, we have more than 1-to-1 to get to the high. One other piece though is this was a gap up, and so the market is likely to go test that gap, fill it. Let's mark where that is on this chart. Right around here. I'm gonna mark it on the S&P as well. I think I marked the low, but I haven't marked the yesterday's close. Nasdaq pushing down quite a bit here. A little bit of a divergence happening. S&P continuing to hold the course, stay above the EMA, and the Nasdaq is just straight dropping. I think the Nasdaq will win out, probably drag the S&P down with it. I would watch that. Nasdaq having a bullish reversal candle here so far. But Nasdaq is weak, so I'm not going to take this. I don't suspect that there's a better chance of getting a new high on the Nasdaq than there is continuing to drop. So I'm going to skip that. Yes, looking like it's getting pretty dang close, but I don't know when you would have entered this. I wonder if our original analysis would have held if we just kept the 1-to-1 stop. Kind of looks like it might have. Oh, this thing would still be alive. Crazy. I don't feel bad about cutting it short, but it still would be going if we had just done a 1-to-1 stop and let it go. Now the Nasdaq's dropping again, and that would be extremely heartbreaking if we had rode this up here, missed it there, almost got stopped out, came up again, missed it again, and then got fully stopped out. That would be a devastating trade. Nasdaq, another big move down. A gap is starting to look like it's beckoning to the prices. We're right out of measured move, so we'll see if this bounces or anything. Large divergence between the two tickers. ES is still consolidating near the high. The overnight high, that is. Well, I guess it's the same. Overnight and cash sessions are around the same price. Very close. Be interesting to see if we hold here. Yeah, Theodore, thanks for that call out. 1OP, for those of you who don't know, is a proprietary indicator invented by and developed by Pete Stolzers, who runs the One Option community, and it's specially tuned for SPY. It's an oscillator, but it's incredibly accurate. And yeah, right now it has a bearish cross, so, and we're right at the VWAP. I think we could go down here, especially with the Nasdaq weakness. News? What is this news you speak of? Oh, we do have new home sales. Crazy, I forgot about that. Yes, news in 6 seconds, so get flat, everybody. The algos are turned on. They're revving. They're ready. Once this number comes out, there should be a volatility spike here. Yeah, seriously, Tom, thank you. Just a little 18 seconds heads up. Yeah, exactly. Well, we appreciate it either way, Tom. Daryl, it's exactly what Theodore just said. This is looking more or less like a range, folks. Unfortunately, it's not a range that I can trade because we don't have any really solid static lows here. We have this weird drop below, and then the highs look great. This is actually exactly what you want to see on the highs, but I can't short up here because of how bullish it's been. So we're ranging out, but it's not really a helpful pattern at this point. Nasdaq is continuing its downtrend. And it looks like the S&P will likely close below VWAP. Got a couple minutes left on the 5-minute candle, but that is looking pretty likely at this point. Continued weakness in the Nasdaq, which is headed to yesterday's close. Maybe fill that gap. See where the gap fill is on S&P. We got quite a ways till we're in that neighborhood, but it is down there. This would be a potential trade right here. If you are bullish, if you do think there's a good chance that we get a new high on the day, this would be a good level to trade from. Lets you let your structure your risk pretty well. Your stop is well below the swing low. And you can even move it up to right below that swing low to get a better risk to reward. So not a bad place to take a chance. And if the Nasdaq were doing the exact same thing right now, I probably would take a chance, but because there has been a divergence and it's a lot weaker, not quite as confident in that. I think this possible wider channel on Nasdaq, it is pretty wide given the range structure, but you know, it's clear we're moving down, lower lows and lower highs continuously. Big push up on the Nas here. That will help the S&P. So if you took that S&P trade, it's looking really solid now. Doesn't look like we are going to fill that gap on the Nas, and S&P is about to make that new high. Crazy. And if I would have just taken that trade initially with the complete one-to-one stop and just let it ride, we'd be getting a winner right now. So that's going in the mental notes. Although I have found in my back testing that my stats do improve when I do cut trades early that I think are likely to lose. So not upset about it. I think it'd be easy to say, like, just let every trade ride, but have found that it has served me well to cut trades early. That way my losses are for sure smaller than my winners. And it's a bit of the edge. Above the range on the S&P. See if that holds or not. Meanwhile, we're getting a pullback on the Nasdaq, and I'm wondering if the Nasdaq could get to a new high. Pretty close to the high of the day, and then I'd be targeting this overnight high. But if the ES can hold that range, I might take this pullback, trade it long. ES is back into the range, so no dice on that. Candlestick, you held through that. Nice. Nice. Good. Well, hey, here, if your blood pressure is through the roof, well, look, if you have the intention of, hey, I'm gonna hold whether or not it hits my target or my stop, maybe walk away so you're not having to get emotional with each candle. But that's awesome. Great job for holding, and that's gonna build some mental fortitude the next time. Good drink. Yep, stay hydrated out there. That'll help you. Mental game of trading is improved with some H2O. Awesome, Candlestick. I'm glad to hear that. And I really wish I could short right here, guys. I really wish I could. Beautiful range. Normally it would short the top of a range right here, but this is very bullish overnight. We didn't fill any of this gap. I think we're likely to go higher. Candlestick, I might suggest if a trade is causing that much emotion, you are likely trading with too much size. Would for sure encourage you to read Mark Douglas, Trading in the Zone, and would definitely encourage to lower the size, because each trade you never know whether it's going to be a winner or a loser, and you have to be okay if it's a loser. So if you're not okay with a loser, that would probably indicate like you got too much on the line. Remember that we're trading probabilities, and there's no certainty in probabilities that one individual trade will win or lose. You're banking on the edge over time. So just some thoughts, but glad you were able to stick to your conviction and hold it and get the win. And it looks like it would have worked out there. Yeah, that higher low is definitely tempting, Gonzalo. Couldn't quite do it myself because there was not one-to-one risk before the high there. So I would have wanted to be able to have a one-to-one risk before the high was formed. So I didn't want to have it to make all the way up to here. But yeah, pretty solid setup. The top of the range holding. Overall bullish. The likelihood that the market was going to go higher was definitely high. And maybe we have some sort of wider bullish channel. I'm curious where we're at on the daily at this point. Here's the 10,000 tick. And that channel definitely looks legit there. Or it's just like this, and that's our new high. Here is the daily chart. Yet again, we are making a move. Very close to that all-time high. And look how the strategy would have worked out on the daily chart. You got this channel working up. You're expecting continuation, break. Here's the EMA. So go along there, targeting that new high. Stop 1-to-1, and that would have been a nice winner. If you're doing this strategy on the daily, it works for sure. And that would have been 95 points. So you definitely have to size appropriately, right? And then you could... I probably wouldn't have taken profits right there. That's where I'd start trailing my stop. And you get this big move up. I'd probably put my stop right around the halfway point of that candle, and it hasn't been touched yet. I haven't tried this on the daily chart yet, but it definitely works. Even something like this, right? This short. Do you think this channel is going to continue? Enter short right here at the EMA. Target low, stop 1-to-1. Boom, that would have worked out too. You gotta wait. Let's see, that would have been a whole month. Wait for a whole month for that to work out. Nasdaq showing a little bit of rejection. The overnight high. Nice, Pepe. Congrats. Enjoy that. Enjoy that. We'll see you next time. So really no trade zone right here. We need to see what the market's going to do next. If it continues higher, that's when we are for sure going to be looking for some channel like this and taking longs. But this still has a chance to reverse. I don't think that's likely. I think we will likely continue to grind, but we'll see. I'm going to leave this channel up just in case that starts to come into play. Oh, sorry, you weren't seeing what I'm seeing here. I'm talking about the ES. We got this big channel in play just in case. Let's see if there's anything like that on the Nasdaq. No, not really. Yeah, it doesn't look great for a large channel on the Nasdaq. Pretty choppy. I would favor more of just this short channel that already has a new high and we're expecting correction. Kind of looks like a secondary channel on the Nasdaq. See if that holds. So we don't have any new news for the rest of the day. We do have a little bit of news tomorrow morning. PC price index at 8:30. And of course, next week, earnings. I think big tech next is earnings is this coming week, if I'm not mistaken. But still some more earnings the rest of this week as well. Financial institutions reporting. And then we have FOMC in 2 weeks, maybe. Let's see where that is. No, FOMC is this coming Wednesday. So tech earnings and then right into FOMC, and that should be a volatile release, as the question of rate cuts is definitely on the minds of investors. Good news has been priced into the market, obviously, so surprise favors the downside there. All right, getting a drop on the S&P. See if this channel is made of anything. Definitely won't take a trade right off the channel without confirmation. Right on that range high. And again, this is a place, if you feel good about a bullish case for the day, we're right at this possible trend line, right at the top of that range support, targeting a new high, 1-to-1 stop. Not a bad area to take a risk. Of course, trades are your own. That's just something I would consider. But we're already going below. Nasdaq looking especially bearish. Might even consider a short on the Nasdaq if it gets back to the EMA. It's looking solid so far. Let's see if this drop has some legs. I won't take ES short anymore because we're now at that range low, but the Nasdaq is very possible for a short. I'm eyeing that for sure. Okay, I'm considering this on the NAS. Especially with that nice red bar. We can get back to the EMA at this point. I think I like it. This is right around VWAP. That is one caution. Nasdaq has been above VWAP for quite some time. This is the first drop below, and we are already back above. But you know, I think I do like it. I think I do like it. If we can get back there. And we might not even get that chance. Come on, little fella. There we go. Pretty decent chance of working out. Is slightly risky because, again, this is the VWAP of UQQ. And we were coming from above, so this could be where you bounce. But the SPY is below its VWAP, so that's good. If it can confirm below and head down, that'll help, but we'll see. Nasdaq all of a sudden looking stronger than ES. With this VWAP bounce. Possible second entry short on the S&P. That's decent. That's a decent second entry short right there. It didn't finish well, that bar, so best to probably wait on a lower high. So we'll see. If we get that lower high, I will enter on ES and then hoping that that works out too, because that will help this Nasdaq trade. S&P is above the EMA now. SPY is above VWAP. And this is likely not going to turn out how we want. Melvin asking, how do I handle emotion if I've had a couple losses? Do I stop or continue trading? I think it really depends on the day. Some days I'm able to handle it better than others. But yeah, if I start feeling like that kind of frustration kicking in, emotions kicking in, I usually just take a break or just wrap it up for the day. Because I've found that nothing good happens when I try to like make back the losses or anything. All right, it's starting to go in our favor a little bit. If we get below the EMA and close below it, I will probably tighten up my stop a little bit. ES is below the EMA. SPY is below VWAP. That's good. And you know what? I think I'm going to enter on the S&P here. If I can get a good entry. So we're in both Nasdaq and the S&P. Nasdaq, I think I'm going to tighten up my stop. Maybe. A little undecided. I'll just let it ride. Nice lower high bar on the ES if it can form. Cool. ES is going our way. Need the Nasdaq to start cooperating. Yes, getting somewhere. I like this. I'm gonna move up my target just a little bit. I don't want it to have to actually clear that low, since we're in more or less of a range. Actually, it's moving down pretty quick. I might get this out of the way. I will move my stop once we get close. It already cleared it. Okay, so I am going to be very picky with my stop here. If we get any sort of bullish bar, I'm going to take it. Yeah, so I will take profits if we get this bullish bar and we tick above it. Okay, so that's where my stop is going to be, or my take profit's going to be rather, on the S&P. So I'm going to take profit there. And then on the NAS, don't like that it didn't get it down as far as the S&P. I will tighten on my stop for sure right here. If it gets above that, we're going to be invalidated. I might take a small loss here because, again, S&P already got to the low, already bouncing off the range lows. It might bounce here. So this trade doesn't feel as good as it did a bit ago, and I think the ES was really money. That setup worked out really well. There we go, Nasdaq. Come on now. Let's go. Let's get going. If it gets past that swing low, this could really run. Maybe we can get that gap fill. That would be my ultimate target. If this continues in our favor, I'm gonna try to trail the stop and get that gap fill. We will let it ride. If it loses, it loses. The ES trade will make up for it. We'll still come out green. And of course the ES is going to test the low again, probably drop off a cliff. And there, you know, that's how it works. That's how it works. No worries though. At least we do have opposition on right now. Okay, I'm going to do the Nasdaq the same way. Once it breaks this little low, or if it does rather, going to trail my stop. To make sure we lock in profits, I'll probably trail it pretty aggressively. This is the VWAP right here on QQQ. The pivotal area for the Nasdaq. We can either form support or drop off a cliff here. Here we go, baby. Break below that green candle. There we go. Beautiful. That looks like it's going to get to that new low at least. We can trail our stop. I do think I will trail this even tighter. If it gets above that little swing, well, I don't know. Undecided. We did have a close below the VWAP on QQQ. It's helpful. Let's see if we can see some continued momentum. I don't like the ES is right at the range lows. A bounce on ES would destroy this trade. ES is bouncing. I think we'll take a scratch. Maybe a small loss. I don't know. Gonna give it a slight bit of room here. And I'll be fine with the outcome, because again, profits on ES will make up for this trade. Very small loss if we do take it. But I just don't like how the ES is at range support. The Nasdaq has been relatively strong. ES might bounce. And yeah, if the ES bounces here at range support, like this trade's just going to end up being a loser. So if we can get a breakdown, if the ES can drop below the range, if this can turn down, great. If not, we still came out green. Yeah, ES is bouncing here, so we'll definitely take the loss, no problem. No concerns taking it. There we go. One win, one loss, and green on the day. No problem with that. Wish both of them would have been big winners, but yeah, that is how it goes. And if you manage your trades right, you could still come out ahead, even if you're 1-on-1. So anyway, I am going to call it here, folks. Thanks for hanging with me. Appreciate it. Hope you all have a safe and wonderful trading day. Still got that 1 day to pass Apex sale going on. If you're interested, all the info is below. Thank you, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.